Hey guys, I'm trying something a little bit new today. It's not exactly child trafficking related. However, it does loop back around. I promise. You just give me a few minutes and I'll get there and you'll understand why. This video is about FISA, F-I-S-A, FISA Surveillance and you. Why is this relevant and how does it affect you? Now let's first start off with what is FISA. FISA is a surveillance system that was set up to fight terrorism after 9/11. During the 2016 elections, it was discovered that the Obama administration was using and exploiting FISA to surveil journalists who were speaking against the Democratic narrative. The most well-known instance of this was the Carter Page scenario. Carter Page was candidate Trump's campaign manager at the time. Carter Page was put under FISA surveillance. Now, what FISA surveillance does and is I'm going to use myself as an example. The reason why I'm going to use myself as an example is because I know that I was under FISA surveillance during the 2016 election, which means that I am still currently under FISA surveillance. Now, what does this mean to me and to you? Well, as an individual that's under FISA surveillance, there is what's known as a FISA Umbrella. Now, before I get to the umbrella, I do want to backtrack a minute. FISA surveillance is ultimately an ex parte court hearing. What this ultimately means is the government can go to the court and say, Jennifer Guskin is a danger. We want to surveil her and make sure she's not a terrorist. Jennifer Guskin will not know that they did this. Jennifer Guskin may never find out that they did this. But every single phone call, text message, email, Skype or Facebook call, anything I watch on my TV if I had a smart TV, anything that I have connected to a smart device is sent to a NSA server in Utah, which is overseen by Inspector General John Huber. I'll get back to that. Now, how does this affect you? Now, with me being under FISA surveillance, the way this works is that FISA works under an umbrella system. What does that mean? Well, an umbrella system means that I'm under FISA surveillance. I go to, let's say, Baltimore County Circuit Court. The way that FISA works is that because I entered Baltimore County Circuit Court and connected my laptop and my phone to the internet, that means that my laptop and my phone now put your court under FISA surveillance. What does that mean? Well, that means that every email, text message, phone call, any exchange of data that took place within Baltimore County Courthouse has been sent to John Huber in Utah. What this also means is that any individuals who has gone into Baltimore County Circuit Court is also currently under FISA surveillance. So let me explain this in a little better way. I'm under FISA surveillance. I go into Baltimore County Circuit Court. That is the first jump under the umbrella. So it goes from me to Baltimore County Circuit Court. One jump. Then it goes from Baltimore County Circuit Court to whomever goes within Baltimore County Circuit Court. Two jumps. So what this means is that any building that I go into, or I'm not 100% sure on the range, so don't quote me on this. I'm going to guesstimate. At any time one of my devices comes within 5 yards of you, you are now under FISA surveillance. And then anytime your device comes within 5 yards of another person, they are now under surveillance. So, what this ultimately means at this point is that the vast majority of Baltimore County is currently under FISA surveillance. All of your text messages, all of your emails, all of your data-driven communications are currently being sent to a server in Utah being overseen by Inspector General John Huber. Why is this relevant? Well, as many of you may know, I have put in a Freedom of Information Act request for all information in regards to myself, my daughter, and Scott. As part of this, I also put in a Freedom of Information Act request specifically asking for my FISA information. Why is this relevant? Well, because FISA is such an under-the-table court system, when you put in a Freedom of Information Act request, you will not get your FISA information unless you specifically ask for it. And the people who are able to pull your FISA information and get it for you is the Inspector General. My FOIA request has been forwarded to the Office of Inspector General. Let's put two and two together, shall we? The Office of Inspector General is currently reviewing my FOIA request, and that also includes for FISA information. What that means is that I will be receiving all information related to anything of my FISA warrant. So what that means is that if you discussed me or Scott or Iris in any capacity while under FISA surveillance, I will have access and privilege to that information. So, let me say this to you. Baltimore County Circuit Court, Baltimore County Department of Social Services, Baltimore County lawyers, judges, affiliates, and anybody who's been involved with the human trafficking enterprise. When Q says that we have everything, he's not kidding. We have everything. We have everything from where you work, where you go to school, where you bring your kids for daycare. We know when you have your little parties. We know what you're doing tomorrow night. We know where you're going. We know when you're going there. We know when you get there. We can ping your phone within feet of your location. Because yes, FISA surveillance also includes having the ability for them to be able to turn on your video and turn on your microphone at will. So, if they want to, they can turn on your video and your microphone right now and hear you breathing. Just because they want to. So, that being said, Baltimore County and State of Maryland, you are currently under the most extreme form of surveillance that a state and individual can be put under. Every single thing that you do is under a microscope right now, and there's nothing you can do to hide any of it. The amount of fuckerinoed you are is insurmountable, and it's all because you decided to take the child of a journalist. Not smart. Not smart at all. So, in closing, I'm going to say this. You are currently holding my daughter hostage. Now, my daughter is not the only child you are holding hostage. You're holding how many hundreds? Thousands? Of children hostage? Simply because you don't like their parents, I'm assuming. I mean, there's no other reason to open up a fraudulent case, and if you've done that to me, I'm willing to bet that you've done that to other parents as well. You're in a very difficult situation, because all it takes is one subpoena, one search warrant, one person saying, you know, we have a fraudulent substance exposed newborn case right here. How many other of these cases are fraudulent as well? Let's look through all of these cases and see if we have the blood test or the drug test result with that substance exposed. Now, something that is very interesting that you should know. Because the Office of Inspector General has all of your communications, that means we have all of your emails, your phone calls, your text messages, etc. And that means we have everything talking about all your plans to take children from parents under fraudulent circumstances. We have all of the times that you've decided to lie and deceive and manipulate people to build your case. We have quite literally everything. Now, that being said, I'm sure that the vast majority of you understand what it's like having blackmail held over your head. I'm not going to play games. I'm not going to mince words. You and I both know that when you get your job working for the government, there is somebody who grabs you, drags you, and forces you to do something that is against your moral fiber, many times consisting of raping and or abusing children. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I am one of those children. I was trafficked at birth through CPS and adopted into the family that I was raised into under the condition that certain people had access to me for sexual and experimental usage. When I started coming forward and going public about what happened to me, CPS opened up a fraudulent substance-exposed newborn case, took my daughter against medical advice, made her sick, and admitted in open court twice that she was taken, quote, in case of neglect, end quote. This is extremely disturbing, especially considering that it is required by law that CPS exhaust all efforts possible before removing a child from their care. Now, how does this come together? Simple. We have everything. So we know exactly how many children you have tried to traffic, how many children you have trafficked, the lengths that you have gone through to traffic said children, and what you have gotten in return. We have everything. There is no hiding. All you can do right now is come forward, admit your mistakes, apologize, and help us expose what's going on. Because if we don't expose what's going on, this is going to continue happening, and it is going to be your fault. There are those of us who are standing up. There are those of us who are fighting back. There are those of us who are refusing to allow this to continue on. And then there are those of you who are covering up, defending and protecting them. We, the people, understand the method of blackmail that is being held over so many people's heads. We are fully aware, and we are trying to get you to step up and do something about it. You can't just count on we, the people, to save you. You need to take your own steps to save yourself. We are now in a situation where you can save yourselves. You have people and survivors who are coming forward and saying, hey, look, I know what you guys were forced to do. I don't agree with it, but I understand. And I'm willing to take your hand and help walk you through this process together. Or you can continue siding with child rapists, child traffickers, child abusers, and child killers. That's your decision. Or you can stand with we the people, with our children, with our future, with our planet. The choice is yours. The choice has always been yours. And the actions are yours as well. They are your actions for you to own and for you to take responsibility for. Your own free will made you make those decisions. No one and nothing else. Just as it was my own free will to fight tooth and nail to expose what's going on. It is your free will to either expose it or cover it up. The choice is yours and yours alone. But I will say this. This fight can be fun. It can be exhilarating. It can be the best thing you've done with your life. And it can be your own. But you need to stop and ask yourself, what role am I here to play? Why am I here? Am I here to help traffic children? Or am I here to help fight for the children who are being trafficked? I think I know the answer. And I think you know the answer too. But when you ask yourself that question, ask, how can I help? Send me a sign. Show me. How can I help? And you'll see your sign. It'll come. And when you see it, it'll be that thing that makes your heart glow, makes your whole body just radiate with, that's it, that's what I can do. And it just consumes you. It becomes your life. It becomes your everything. Yeah, I know how that feels. You took my daughter. And now I got to fulfill my fantasy of playing a lawyer. That's kind of fun. Not gonna lie. But I would much rather to not have to do this at all. That's okay. Thanks to you, I've learned how to deal with this system. I've learned how to deal with family court, and I know exactly what to look for to be able to get children to come back home. So I must thank you for that, at least. So, on that note, I must say my thank yous. I must say my thank yous to those in the deep state down here in Maryland. If it wasn't for you coming after me, we wouldn't have been able to expose all of this and expose what you're doing. So I want to thank you for making me your target. and going after somebody who'll actually fight back. I also want to take a minute to thank the good social workers, the good people in the system who are involved to fight back and to help us get our children home and to help expose everything that's going on. Your social workers, lawyers, judges, clerks, everybody who's involved, who knows what's going on and who's trying to fight to expose this, you deserve thanks. You deserve credit, you deserve appreciation, and you deserve to know that it is noticed. Those of you who are helping and who are working with me and who are trying to move forward, I notice. And I appreciate it immeasurably. And while others may not notice, they do and will appreciate it as well. This is also, I want to thank to those in our military, those who are currently fighting on the border, those who are currently fighting overseas, and those who are currently fighting in general to expose what's going on. You guys deserve a lot of credit as well. And I'm not going to pretend that I know what you go through, because what I went through was very different than what you went and go through. But I know that you guys are warriors. You're fighters, you're patriots, and I don't really know what to say. I really don't. But thank you for everything you're doing. And, of course, I need to thank, everybody who's fighting to expose this, everybody who has taken an active role. Oh, okay. I have to do this. Sorry, not sorry. A small quick update, and then I'll go, because I'll leave it on a bit of a good note. Unfortunately, the DOJ's attorney in our federal case is filing for a motion to stay the case until the shutdown has ended. He is not arguing the merits of the case. He's not arguing the merits of any of the information I have presented. He is asking to put the case ultimately on hold until the shutdown ends. I have emailed him, I responded, and I said, hey, look, I understand where you're coming from. I'm sorry to hear that, you're also affected by the shutdown, but this is bigger than you. This is bigger than the shutdown. This is about fighting human trafficking. This is about ending unlawful detainment of children. This is about ending the unlawful separation of families. And this is about ending human trafficking, first and foremost. Apparently it looks like he spoke to somebody and they've decided to keep the case going for a little while longer. So it has not been stayed yet. So we'll see what happens. It's nice to see that the DOJ is being helpful and reasonable. So I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for that, for being cooperative and being willing to work with me and compromise. And, I just want you to know that I really appreciate that. So thank you. But yeah, so that's a bit of he wants to freeze the case, but he's not arguing the merits of the case. He's not arguing any of the overall points I've made in the case. And he seems to be willing to have some flexibility and work with me. So the reason why I'm saying that is because I do want to show you guys that there is hope. There is help. Now look, it may take you a while to hear back and they may be getting flooded, but if you're dealing with CPS fraud, please contact the Department of Justice. Please contact the Office of Inspector General. They are clearly working into this. They are clearly investigating it, and they are clearly taking an active role in trying to get something done. But what we need is we need the help of you, the people. When POTUS says to call your senator, he means it. Call your senator. Don't just ask about migration. Ask about human trafficking. We need to deal with human trafficking on the border and within the border. So please, make sure you bring up human trafficking at the border and through CPS. Because we need to deal with all of human trafficking. All of it. Modern day slavery. That's what it is. And it needs to stop. And it stops with us. So, on that note, guys, this one ended up going a bit longer than I intended, but it got out a lot of stuff that I've been needing to say. So I think this one might be upload worthy. Yay! Anyway, that's it. Have a very happy 2019, and I think this is the year of clear consciences. So if you know something, say something. We're listening. We're not just here, roar, pitchforks and torches. No. We're here to help all of us. We're here to help you, and you're here to help us. So if you come out and come forward, we will protect you. Because you show yourself to be a warrior and a patriot. And patriots, we protect our own. So on that note, guys, I love you. Have a wonderful Thursday. Where we go one, we go all.